Yo, what's up, League? This is the franchise here, giving you the weekly update for Week 9. Lot of things going on. I like to call this week Blowout City because it seems like every single person in this league blew out their opponent for some reason. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go through each matchup, and I'm going to kind of rank your teams as I see them going forward until the playoffs. Alright, so looking at the first matchup for the week, I have Dunphy versus the Super Bowl Skins, Joe versus Mr. Farrar, and, I gotta say, I think Dunphy's on the downslide. This is a starting lineup for what it should be going forward. You got Phillip Rivers / Matt Ryan, probably Rivers, Deshaun Jackson, Marshawn Lynch, AP, Witten, Danny Woodhead, some combination of James Jones and Boykin. Then you got Tennessee's defense. I don't like this team going forward. I don't think Lynch and AP can carry you down the stretch. Now, on the other hand, Mr. Farrar, surprisingly to me, has put together a pretty good squad. RG3, Brandon Marshall, DeMarco Murray, Knowshon Moreno. I think he can keep it going. Clay from Miami for tight end. A little weak, but okay. Josh Gordon is an absolute stud if he stays off the weed. You got to stay off the weed, my friend. Wes Welker, and then Kansas City defense is just blowing it up right now. I think this team has mad potential. This team is a playoff contender. Alright, the next matchup I want to talk about is Sporting Woodies versus the Super Bowl Giants. And I gotta say that the Super Bowl Giants are really hurting. This team is probably the worst team in the league. That's right, Ace. I've just paid you a compliment. Okay? Look at this team squad. Rodgers, out for 3 weeks. Antonio Brown, he's been solid. Spiller, Joe, spoiler alert, he sucks. Big bust. Sproles, horrible the past few weeks. Heath Miller, some combination of Bolden and Nix. Aaron Dobson, Cincy's defense. This team is just not good. He's had some bad luck. Julio Jones was a stud. He's out now. This team's going nowhere fast. You better just tank and hope that you get #1 pick next year. Alright, sorry, Mr. DeMuth. Sporting Woodies, I'm kind of on the fence about this one. Farrar, he has a decent squad. It's not great. I think it's got some potential. Eddie Lacy's really good. Jacques Bell, not so good. Okay, he's starting Marvin Jones. The key for this team is if Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham keep lighting it up, this team is definitely a playoff team. If they slow down, probably not. Okay, he's probably in the consolation bracket. So he's got Brees, he's got Graham, Cruz, D'Angelo Williams. This team is the middle of the road going forward, I think. Okay, so he's got a lot of work to do. Alright, next up we have Eye of the Tiger versus Ace. Sorry, Ace, I refuse to call your team name by its name because that team name frickin' sucks. Okay? Never, ever name your team Awesomeness. Okay? Come up with a better name next year or you're getting kicked out of the league. Okay? Let's take a look at Ace's team for a second. Okay? Talk about a horrible squad. Let's say the opposite of Awesomeness. Stafford, Garcon, Lamar Miller, Steven Jackson, Tony Gonzalez, Vincent Jackson, Mike Wallace. Let's just say this, you could call this team the Island of Misfit Toys, okay? It's just horrible. It's just a collection of garbage, all right? Moving on, Jake's team, I kind of like Jake's team. Even though I don't really know Jake, I probably don't like the kid that much, but his team is pretty solid. He's got a stacked squad. Cam Newton, some combination of Keenan Allen, Amendola, T.Y. Hilton. Alfred Morris and Jamal Charles are just monsters. Martellus Bennett is really good. Bernard, he's a stud. And then Megatron. I mean, this team is going to contend. This team is going to contend for a playoff spot for sure. In the playoffs, go deep in the playoffs, I think. All right, next up we have McNasty McNabb, our commish, Mr. DeMuth, Dave versus Peanut Butter Sucks. Peanut Butter Sucks' squad is going to be first, second, or third when the regular season is all said and done for sure. He's got Peyton, he's got Decker, he's got Gore, he's got Rice, he's got Gronk back, he's got Reggie Bush, he's got Cecil Shorts. When Justin Blackman just got caught by doing something he was supposed to do. I know, shocker there. So this team is pretty stacked. This team is going to contend. Now to the commissioner. I freaking hate this guy. I don't like the roster. Tom Brady, AJ Green, Stephen Ridley, disappointment. Matt Forte, he's going to do well. Antonio Gates, he's average. Andre Johnson is a stud. Okay, you got to get Torrey Smith in your lineup. You can't start You can't start Harry Douglas over Torrey Smith. Okay, horrible decision. Even though you did win this past week. Okay. Alright, and finally we have myself, the franchise, versus Cleveland Steamers. Now, I handled this situation like I have been for the past few weeks. That's called a winning streak, by the way. Ace. Take note of that. Okay. These are these two squads. Not too bad. Okay. First, let's start off with the Steamers. Brendan, I guess, is your name. That kind of sucks to be called Brendan for some reason. You know, because people are always asking you, hey, what's your name? Brendan. And then they ask you, oh, you mean Brandon? And then you say, no, it's Brendan. And then people just feel bad for you because Brendan is just a dumb name. But here's your squad. You got Romo, decent. Jordy Nelson, okay, good. McCoy. Trent Richardson, total bust. Okay, horrible. Okay, I wouldn't even keep him for next year. Julius Thomas, injury issues. So we'll see what happens with that. Demaryius Thomas, he's a stud. Foster, hurt for right now. I don't know who you're going to fill in. You don't have a lot of depth, so we'll see. This is probably a sunk team. Now my squad, okay? The only problem I have is at quarterback, all right? I think Luck can get me to the promised land, though. So I got Andrew Luck, Des Bryant, stud. Le'Veon Bell, coming on, stud. Zach Stacy, stud. The guy runs so hard. Vernon Davis, Larry Fitzgerald, CJ 1K, hopefully. But this is my bench, okay? This is what I'm going to try to teach you motherfuckers in this league. You need a good bench to win fantasy leagues, okay? This is my bench. Percy Harvin, Roddy White, Doug Martin, Shane Vereen, Jordan Cameron, and Maurice Jones-Drew. Enough said, okay? I'm winning this goddamn league. Alright, here we go. Predictions for Week 10. This is a big week, okay? And I'm going to explain in a little bit. But let's start off with Joe Dunphy versus Super Bowl Giants, Mr. DeMuth. I got to give this one to Dunphy, even though I'm not in love with the squad. Mr. DeMuth is he's just on a whole nother level. But not up here, like down here, okay? Probably between, like, your toes. You know, that crap that you find between your toes, that's kind of where Mr. DeMuth is, okay? So just think about it like that. Next you have, this is going to be pretty tight, I think. You have Cleveland Steamers versus Super Bowl Skins. I'm going to give the edge to Mr. Farrar here. I think he's got a decent squad. Again, I think all his positions are solid. RG3's coming on. I think he's going to wrap this one up. You have Sport and Woody's, Farrar versus Team Awesomeness, Ace. I don't think I need to say much there. Ace, you're horrible. Eye of the Tiger versus Peanut Butter Sucks. I see this going either way. I'm going to take Eye of the Tiger, though. I think he's going to pull it out. Now we come to the premier matchup of this week. And here's why. We got a lot on the line. We got a lot riding on this game, okay? We have the franchise, myself, all right, versus our lovely commissioner, Dave DeMuth, McNasty McNabb. Now here's the deal. I made a little side bet at the beginning of the year because I didn't like how this league was run. Shocker there. You know, you don't get anything for your receptions, you know, for your receivers or running backs. You have a stupid move limit that is just, it just drives me crazy. So we made a bet that if I beat Dave Week 1 and Week 10, I could impose some rule according to the moves or some stats for next year. Well, unfortunately, I lost in Week 1 by about a point or two, I think it was. So Week 10, there's a lot riding on this because if DeMuth wins again, then I have to pay $2 for every single move that I will make this year, which obviously it'll be 20. It'll probably be 20 by Week 11, all right, because it's such a stupid-ass rule that I'm going to get there by then, and I'm going to have to fork over $40 to be put into the main pot for Demuth to pocket, or to maybe give the first place guy, well, who am I kidding? He's going to pocket that money. All right, so he's just going to pocket $40 if I don't win this week. So I'm calling my team out. All right, Mr. Luck, you better be there. All right, if you're not, I might drop your ass. So you better not let me down. Okay? Peace out, gentlemen.